Love and light, ladies. This is Love, also known as the Self-Love Guru, and I am your confidence coach. And today we will be talking about family planning. So this will be part one. I'm definitely going to deep dive into it because I just sat down with my assistant. I made my content calendar for December and January, and I'm like, you know what? Family planning has to go into what I talk about. I discuss relationships, I discuss confidence in yourself, and I cannot deny the biology of a woman. If we're going to talk about biology in terms of hypergamy, we also need to talk about baby fever and what that looks like to prepare to be a mother, okay? And any moms that I have on my channel, please feel free to jump in the comments and let me know if I missed anything. Like I said, I will be doing a part two, so I would love to have your feedback on that, all right? Because I am not a mother, but I am a clinical social worker. I've seen a lot, and I know a lot of the mistakes that women have made in this area. I'm also a licensed life insurance agent. So that just tells you that, yes, I have my hand in every little pool of money, but I also have seen what it looks like for moms to be in situations where, okay, I'm married to this man, but he doesn't want to get a life insurance policy to secure my future and the future of the baby. And that's an issue, right? So I'm going to dive into that in this video as well. Full transparency, as I told you ladies on IG, I've been super busy. So these past 2 weeks, I have not released any videos, and I'm like, you know what? Gotta get back on it. If you wanna see what's been keeping me so busy, I will tell you how you can do that in just a second. It sort of leaves a trail of where I've been over the past few weeks. And so I got you. I'm gonna keep you updated and in the loop. Number one, you will never be ready for marriage or a baby, all right? So there's no such thing as in waiting until I'm ready. Now, mentally, if you know that, like, you know what, I'm really not in a good space, but I would like to be a mother, I would like to be a wife, go to therapy, you know, seek counseling, find a holistic practitioner if you know it's related to your diet and exercise and energy blocks that you may have in your body. You know, whatever you feel like you may need, go get that. Pray, find faith-based organizations that you can connect with. And that is not in lieu of therapy, that is in addition to therapy. Very important that you have both, okay? Next, become financially literate. So before you have a child, you may spend frivolously like I used to. You may not have a concrete budget. You may not really know like how much money you have coming in, how much you have going out, or even what your expenses look like from month to month, right? And when you have a baby, you need to know stuff like that because babies are not only expensive, but things pop up. So, and when I say it, I don't mean to say that babies are expensive. Let me correct it. Babies are an investment, okay? Children are an investment, and it's very important that you have the revenue that you need so that you can support that child and make sure that they have a good education, that they have an environment to live in that is safe. Like, you want to make sure that they feel good all around. And when they're lacking resources, that can threaten their security. So you may live in a very safe neighborhood, but if you're struggling with food insecurity and they don't know where their next meal is coming from, that can create an issue because they're hungry, which means they also can't think straight, which means their bodies cannot function properly and grow the way it needs to, right? So all of these things fit together, and it's very important that you as a parent have your money together because it's not the child's fault. If any of you have ever grown up in a more impoverished environment and you heard your parents say things like, oh, well, if I didn't have kids, or I made a lot of sacrifices for you all, or I did this and I did that. And it's like, I didn't ask to be here, you know? Like, you didn't ask for that. Now, when I say that, my parents have never said that to me, thank God. But, you know, just had to put that example out there. People hear it all the time. I think it's horrible to blame your child for bringing them into the world because you created them. So you need to prepare for them properly. Get some financial literacy. You can start with the broke black girl on Instagram. You can start with Millennial in Debt. She is on Instagram as well. You can also find the Budgetnista, super famous. You can find the Student Loan Doctor. She's phenomenal. So a lot of different people for a lot of different areas. There's credit, there's budget, there's personal finance, there's business finance. You know, figure out what area you need the most assistance in and knock it out. Dave Ramsey is more for debt repayment and making sure that you have a system in place for repaying that debt so that you're not winging it and that it comes in a timely manner. So when I say that, a lot of people focus on debt repayment, but it takes them a long time because they don't have a strategy, right? And if you have a strategy in place, something to help you make additional revenue in addition to what you are already doing for your full-time job, you'll be good to go. Or your business, you'll be good to go, all right? Number 3, make sure it's a safe bet. So whoever you have a child with, they have to have a support system, period. It's not good enough to just have a man. If he is not connected to anyone, if he's not willing to get connected to anyone, like joining dad groups or consulting with his family, you know, if he's the type of guy who's like, oh, I don't have any family, I'm not close to them. Well, what can you do? What kind of revenue do you have to ensure that I will have help when I need a break, when I'm confused and I don't know what to do next? You know, like, everyone has to have someone to call. I personally will be calling my mother. I will also be calling the woman who used to keep me and 2 of my other siblings and talk to her about, okay, I just changed his diaper. I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm going to have that, right? I have, you know, my significant other and their family. I have other people, you know, extended people who I may not feel the most comfortable asking questions about baby things or things related to family, but I know they're there and I know they've had a family, they've had a baby, they are married, right? So you just want to have a big network, and you also want to have the revenue to get a nanny when you need one. You know, like, get a babysitter, bro. There are so many people who are like, oh, I never let anyone watch my kids and da-da-da-da-da. And I get it, but you have to trust someone at some point. And I used to be a nanny, and I also used to be a babysitter. So working with parents who we call first-time parents who have never had a baby, or working with parents who they've never left their child with anyone and their child is like 5 or 6 years old. They're always like, oh yeah, I wrote you these notes and this is the key to the garage. And you know, if they want to go out, they can. If they need a snack, it's on the top shelf and I labeled it, this is Andy's and this is Robbie's. And it's like, thank you. All right, have a good night. They're in good hands. This is my phone number. Call me at any time, you know, like, but enjoy yourself. I even had a parent who one day she was like, oh, well, could you call me like every hour and just let me know they're okay? I was like, that is excessive. What I can do is say, if you would like to call and speak with any of them, you definitely can, but we will be playing games, we'll be involved in activities. So calling you every hour may distract them. It can be counterproductive. And I'd really like to focus on just making sure that the children are safe, right? No, I'm not calling you every hour. So don't be that parent, all right? Do not be that parent. But I say all that to say, make sure that the person you have a child with is a safe bet. You know, everything that you do in life, you're going to be taking a risk. Everything. You know, people have like, you know, they marry the perfect guy. They have the perfect circumstances and things happen. Like, things happen. So it's not going to be perfect all the time. It will not always be roses and dandelions. It will not always be roses and dandelions, so make sure that you prepare yourself. Make sure that this person is a safe bet. They have some steady income, and even if they didn't have steady income before, if they were willing to acquire that steady income for the sake of the child, because I have to say this, there are a lot of entrepreneurial individuals who are millennials right now, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of times they're able to sustain themselves in a household with those entrepreneurial endeavors. But when you have a child, you cannot take those same risks, because now you have a mouth to feed, and that's guaranteed. That is a necessity, right? Now, your rent, you may be able to flip-flop around that, you know, pay this a little bit later, pay a fine, whatever. But that baby, they need things now. They need attention now. They need a home now, right? So just be prepared. Like, don't play with this. It's very serious. Next, if neither of you have a job, make sure that you get health insurance some type of way. Even if you need to acquire some part-time job or something like that to just get the health insurance, a lot of places do not do that. You typically have to be full-time, but just do something that would allow you to have health insurance. Why is this important? You need prenatal care, all right? You have to have your appointments. If you're thinking about hiring a doula, because people are always like, oh, I want a doula, I want a midwife, I want that, Great. You still have to pay for that, right? So whatever doula you choose, check and see what insurances they accept. If they accept insurance, and then if they don't, and it has to be private pay, make sure you have the revenue to pay that person to help you throughout the duration of your pregnancy, all right? Next, life insurance. Get it. That's all I'm going to say. Get it. You can do term life. I highly recommend term life because it's cheaper, and it's also, it is for a specific term, but I believe that you should buy term insurance and invest the difference, because your money's really not growing there. Some people do whole life policies. They have different types of whole life policies. I don't think that's wise personally, but get what you need, you know? Next, have a home. Have a home. Have a home, have a home. If you live in an apartment right now, that's fine, but start looking at some homes where you're having, and this is obviously not for everyone, but you want to have a home. It doesn't necessarily have to be a house, but you just want it to be in a safe area, a place that you are thinking about staying for a while. Change can be a lot. It can be scary. It's not impossible to move when you have smaller children, but you just want to make sure that they're living in as stable an environment as possible for as long as they can, because moving can be a lot. And if you're always moving, that can definitely be a lot and impact your child's mental health in a lot of different ways. Don't believe me? Look it up. All right, it's like a security thing for them. They're used to coming home at a certain time in a certain area, doing this certain routine, and then that routine gets switched up because they're somewhere new. It feels different. They have to make new friends, right? So it's a lot that comes with that. All right, well, love you forever. Peace and love to you. I'll see you in the next video.